This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 207 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. This tip is sponsored by Equestrian Collections for the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. Howdy, everybody. Glenn the Geek back with you from Lexington, Kentucky, and you're listening to Horse Tip Daily. Well, today I do have something a little bit different for you. It's something I'm pretty passionate about, and I was hoping that you would become passionate about listening into it as well. There's this woman by the name of Kathleen Dodds who resides in Washington, or Washington State, actually, out on the West Coast, who had something at the top of her bucket list that she always wanted to do, and she finally decided to give it a try. If you listen to the Stable Scoop radio show, you'll know what I'm talking about. So my tip is, I would love for you to listen in to Stable Scoop every week to follow the adventures of Kathleen Dodds, and we title her segment every week, Kathleen's Wild Ride. Kathleen decided a little while ago that she would cross something off of her bucket list that was at the top of the list, and that something is she's riding across the United States on horseback by herself with her 2 Appaloosas and her dog. And she set out about 14 days ago and has already had a myriad of adventures. And we're just having a thrilling time over at the Stable Scoop radio show, having her on every week to tell about what she's encountered along the way, the interesting people that she's met. And that's been one of the things that you'll hear in a moment, that she's really come to find out is that there's a lot of people that will still help people out there. And she's run into a few of them in her first 12 days. The reason I'm bringing this up and putting it out on Horse Tip Daily is I just think it's a fascinating story of someone who is living their dream, no matter how hard that dream is or what the consequences are. She's left. She's doing it. She's doing it with very little finances or resources, and she's just making her way across the United States, all 3,000 miles of it. She wants to end at the Atlantic Ocean sometime later this year. She's doing about 20 to 25 miles a day, and you'll hear a little bit more about that. What I'm going to let you listen to here is the last segment from this week's Stable Scoop radio show, episode number 93, where we had 6 different guest updates from past guests we've had. But Kathleen joins us every week, or a friend of hers, if we can't get a hold of her, if she's out of cell range, joins us every week to chat with us about her adventure and what she's encountered in the last week. So we hope that you enjoy this. Take a listen. She's an inspiration. She, as I said, she's doing this on her Appaloosa. She has a pony horse you'll hear about, and her dog, who's had a rougher time than she has, but hopefully they're getting that under control right now too. She's learning a lot along the way, and God bless her for living her dream and for doing something that all of us say, oh, that'd be really cool to do, but never do. And we'll be right back to hear from Kathleen about her wild ride right after these words from Equestrian Collections and a new offer that they have. We're excited to announce this week that Equestrian Collections has a new coupon code for listeners of the Horse Radio Network. As you know by now, if you need anything for your horse, the barn, or you, the place to find it is Equestrian Collections. They have a whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. And now you can get $10 off your next order of $120 or more by using the coupon code 10DISCOUNT at checkout. That's the numbers 10, followed by the word discount at checkout to get these fantastic savings. All of us at the Horse Radio Network would ask you to stop by EquestrianCollections.com the next time you need anything horsey and give them a shot. That's EquestrianCollections.com. Well, hi, Kathleen. This is the first chance we've had to speak with you since you've gotten underway.
Hi, Glenn. How are you doing?
Good. I think I am. I'm not standing alongside a highway somewhere in Oregon at this point. So tell me, we spoke to Barry last week, and she gave us an update on your progress to that point, and you've had some trials and tribulations in your first 10 days. You've been out there about 10 days now. Is that right?
I think it's like today will be day 12.
Okay. Yeah, you're counting probably better than I am. So what town are you near right now?
I am close to Antelope, Oregon.
Which, according to the map here, appears to be about in the middle of Oregon.
Yeah, just about dead center.
Yep. So Antelope, Oregon, that sounds like a hopping place.
It is. It's an amazing place. It's got a population of around 30 people and a cafe.
Now, you've actually had quite some experiences since you've left. And we, Mary was telling us a little bit about your poor dog last week, and how has that worked out so far?
Well, he actually had some big problems on the first couple of days because, he wasn't in good a shape and his pads were too soft, so they got ripped up really bad. And so he ended up spending about 4 days with a friend of mine in Zigzag, Oregon, which is a really neat little town on top of Mount Hood. And he's doing much better right now. His pads are all healed up, and I'm actually hanging out near Antelope, Oregon, waiting for a package to come into their post office so he'll get some dog booties that a friend of mine has sent for me.
Oh, that's good. I think that's probably a wise thing. Now, we'll see if he keeps them on, but
yeah.
That's the other thing about dog booties. But I think that's probably good because you've actually been traveling more on like roads and things than you thought you would be at this point. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually originally had all the maps that had been made for me for the trip, and they were all back roads and Forest Service roads. They were mostly gravel and dirt. But what ended up happening was a lot of the paths that I was supposed to go through were snowed in, and that it also kept me away from any kind of town for like 4 days in some stretches. And I decided that a big part of this trip for me was to go out and really see the people in the country and go to the little towns, and so I changed my route. So now I'm going from little town to little town, and it's actually been really cool.
Well, yeah, I've been reading your blog, and of course we'll put a link to it that you might think this is crazy.blogspot.com, and you've been good about updating it. And I think, remember when we talked before you left a couple times that we chatted, we talked, and I said to you, I think it's the people along the way that are going to be the most fascinating thing for you, and I think that's what you're finding, isn't it?
That's exactly what I'm finding. I mean, it's absolutely amazing, the people that I meet, and how willing they are to just jump in and help a total stranger with her crazy idea.
Now, what have you found to be the challenges along the way that you were expecting or not expecting?
Well, the first challenge that I was expecting was going to be, the dog is always a big challenge for me for distance. Because I would like to go between 15 and 25 miles a day on horseback, which I can do as long as the horse's weight stays good. But the dog is keeping me to about 10 to 15.
Ah, okay.
And so I'm actually trying to work a way out to get a small dog kennel and tie it to the top of my pack horse so that he can ride in this kennel for about 10 miles a day so we can go a little further.
That's going to be quite a sight. I need a picture of that. Now that's an interesting development, too, since we spoke to Mary last week, was that you had a pack horse arrive. Is that right?
Yes, I had decided after the second day that it just wasn't going to be fair to my horse to carry me and all of my stuff, for this entire trip. Even as I go along, I'm losing weight. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've lost 15 pounds.
Wow.
But still, it's a better idea for me to just grab a pack horse. So I called the lady who owns the horse I'm riding and asked her if I could use her other horse, and she, of course, said yes. And my friend Steve, the world's best farrier, loaded her up in a trailer and hauled her out to me in Dufur, Oregon. So we now have a pack horse.
Now tell us about the pack horse.
She's a 4.5-year-old Appy mare. She's the baby of the mare that I'm riding.
Oh, so you got two apps now on the trip.
I got two Appies, both mother and daughter. I mean, and they hate each other's guts. It's kind of entertaining.
It's good they don't have to be close to each other.
No, well, the only when they're high-lined at night, they're close, and they fight. It's kind of entertaining. You can hear them squeal and snarl at each other.
I think after about 3,000 miles, that's either going to get better or worse.
I think they're going to get better, because where I'm at right now, the local mayor of this town, he's actually the interim mayor. He's trying to find somebody to take his job. He's a really great guy. His name's Don Fisher. He let me stay with my horses in his corral. Told me I could rough it in his fifth wheel, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh, so you're camping right now. You're actually camping not under the stars the last couple of days.
No, I've been sleeping in a fifth wheel. It's really weird. I'm all warm and comfortable. I don't know what to do with myself.
Probably even has running water.
Oh, I do, because he lets me go in his house. And, he says I have free run of his house whenever I want to. And I'm actually doing laundry as we speak. It's the weirdest thing.
Now, this is somebody that you had never met before.
Never met him before. I had stopped at a little ghost town called Shaniko, Oregon, which has less people than this. I think there's a population of 17. But it's this cool little ghost town that's a few miles up the road from where I am right now. And when I left there, they were incredibly friendly. They fed me. They let me park. Sorry, car. We're on the highway.
Yep.
They let me park my horses right in the middle of town and sleep in the wagon shed. And then they fed and and let me do laundry there and take a shower. And when I left, they drove over here to tell the people in the town that I was coming.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, the mayor pulled out behind me and said, "Hey, why don't you put your horses in my corral? You can stay in my fifth wheel until you get what you need." And everybody here has been really friendly, and they've all been really nice.
So this is truly the thing that you've found so far, and that really comes through in your blog, is your renewal in humanity, really.
Yeah, it's really helping me solidify my belief that the people in this country are the best people. I mean, they're so kind and generous and giving. And it's just amazing to be around them. And nobody seems to even blink at the idea of helping out a stranger.
Well, when do you hope to head out again?
I should be heading out today here in a couple hours. My package is supposed to arrive at the post office at 10:30.
Okay.
So I'm going to wander on down there after I grab breakfast and pick it up and make sure the dog won't kick him off, and away we go again.
Well, there you go. A little duct tape might solve that problem. So now you're heading. You're hoping to. You're going through a mountainous region at this point, or tell us about the landscape that you're in right now.
Well, I'm in what they call high desert, which is antelope. I think is sitting around. I'm not quite sure. I think it's around 2,200 feet. And so what I'm doing is I'm going up and down rolling hills and ridge lines, which takes me from about 2,200 feet to about 3,600 feet, and just these rolling ridge lines. And then in about 10 days or 8 days, I am going to have to cross the Blue Mountains, which will be entertaining because those passes are at about 5,000 feet or 5,800 feet. So there will probably be snow.
Oh wow! And I heard it's been a little chillier out in the West Coast than usual too.
Yeah, it actually has. When I was riding from this little town called Maupin, going down a road, oddly enough, named Bake Oven Road, it was snowing on me.
Oh, wow.
So it was a little strange.
It's almost June.
I know. That's what I keep repeating. I kept yelling at the sky. It is almost June. Why are you trying to snow on me?
Well, I'll tell you what. We hope that we can catch up to you. It sounds like your little towns are going to be fewer and farther between, though, when you get into the mountains there.
Well, actually, they aren't. There's a town every about 15 to 23 miles out here.
Wow.
Yeah, so, it's actually they're little tiny towns with 30 to 100 people in them. Some of them are big. There's a town called John Day out here, which is actually fairly good size. But, there's some really cool tiny towns out here with, I hope, just as nice and wonderful people as I've been running into.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that's going to be a problem. It sounds like you've had pretty good luck that way.
I have. The first person who randomly helped me out was this wonderful woman up on Mount Hood, and she just basically dropped what she was doing to take me and show me the path I needed to go. And then when snow came in, she dropped what she was doing again, hooked up a rig, and picked me up and drove me off the mountain so I wouldn't get snowed in.
Wow. You have had quite a first 12 days, haven't you?
It has been a very interesting and entertaining time, yes.
Well, good luck in your next week's adventures. We'll look forward to reading your blog, and that, again, is at youmightThinkThisIsCrazy.blogspot.com. And we also started a Facebook fan page for you, and we started that with the help of your friend Mary. So that's up there. They can just go, and I assume you've heard what we've called it now.
Yes, I have.
You can go to Facebook and just search for Kathleen's Wild Ride. And we decided to name your segment here on the show Kathleen's Wild Ride. We needed a name for it. And, I was talking to Mary, and we just said, it's kind of a wild ride. And I said, well, let's just call it Kathleen's Wild Ride. So your next 3,000 miles, that's what we're titling it, Kathleen's Wild Ride. And so far it fits.
So far, yeah, it's been pretty accurate.
Well, good luck, and we stay safe. And we hope that the doggy and the two apps are doing well when we talk to you again next week.
All right, thank you, Glenn.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and we certainly enjoy bringing you those updates over at the Stable Scoop Radio Show at stablescoop.com. Helene and I over there. If you haven't listened to that show, please do take a listen. And you can follow Kathleen's updates in a number of places, one on the Stable Scoop Radio Show, another's on Facebook. Just search for Kathleen's Wild Ride, and you become a fan of her page, and her friends and family, and as well as we, are putting updates there all the time, trying to keep you abreast of what she's up to and how, the trials and tribulations that she the successes that she's seeing along the way. She also has a blog at You Might Think This Is Crazy stablescoop.blogspot.com. You can find that also linked from her Facebook page. So you can follow her a number of ways, and we'd be glad if you did. It's just quite an adventure, and it's, doing this by yourself is a very, very interesting experience that I'm not sure many of us would have the guts to do. So good luck to Kathleen, and we hope she stays safe, and we'll be talking to her again next week. We'll not be bringing you those here on Horse Tip Daily. I just wanted to do this as a one-time thing, so you'd be aware of Kathleen's wild ride, and you might want to follow it on Stable Scoop or over on Facebook. Thank you very much, everybody, for being patient with that. And now it's time for today's email. Well, I received this email recently and thought we'd share it with you here. It says, "Howdy, Glenn. You asked for feedback about where we listen to the shows. I used to listen at work, but they have blocked me now, and I can't listen there anymore." That's happening a lot around, from what I've been hearing. Businesses just don't like you doing multitasking that don't involve things that they're getting paid for, I guess. So I went out and bought my first iPod, and after a little learning curve, figured out how to download the shows onto it, and now I listen when cleaning my 10 stalls a day. The shows make this otherwise boring chore go so much faster. I love the Horse Tip Daily Show, and I'm thrilled to be listening to the new Western Radio Show. By the way, you can find that at westernradioshow.com. Thank you for making my day at the barn much more interesting. And that was from Amanda Lynn in Texas. Well, thank you, Amanda Lynn. We appreciate that. And I could just hear that accent now, Amanda Lynn. Hopefully one day we'll get to talk to you. So we appreciate everybody that listens to the show, no matter where you listen. If you'd like to drop me an email and have it read here on the show, that would be terrific. You can do so at glenn@horseradionetwork.com. We hope you enjoyed listening to Kathleen today. We appreciate her letting us follow her adventure across the United States. And as I said, you can follow all of that at stablescoop.com. Well, I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.